Hey, I want to talk about Afro Samurai. Now, my first experience with this was, I was probably a teenager. I don't remember how old exactly. It was a long time ago. I was living at my mom's house, and I remember Adult Swim. This was on Adult Swim, and I saw like an episode or two, and I thought, oh god, Afro Samurai is some cool
Crap.
I want more of it. And I just never saw it again. I don't know why. Actually, now I do have an idea as to why. So Afro Samurai, it's funny, on the box it says the complete series. And it sounds like they're trying to make it sound like a lot, but there's not. It's only 6 episodes. And I'm never gonna crap on something for being shorter. Because sometimes short things are the best things. Like, make your story as long as it needs to be. Like a good example is Breaking Bad. Allegedly the producers of that show wanted it to go further, but its creator Vince Gilligan said, no, this is the end of the line. There's nothing more to say. I got everything done. We're ending it right here. And that show, no one has any complaints with the ending. Maybe some people do, but no one I know. I think it's one of the best ended shows. Afro Samurai, on the other hand, let's talk about it, okay? So for one, it has a very dulled color scheme. It's mostly like black, white, gray, and browns. And the blood is a good contrast, which is cool. That was a cool thing about it. It was really gory. And it was, the anime was really stylized. But the biggest issue I have is the story isn't very good. I'm not gonna lie. I was, especially the ending. The ending I thought was really bad. And I feel like now, as I've watched more and more anime, I think a lot of anime have a really hard time ending their series. I feel like they do. I'm thinking of like multiple in my head. Like Full Metal Alchemist is one. I'm drawing a blank. Food Wars apparently was one. I didn't see the end of Food Wars. Food Wars should have ended at like season 3. I used to love it, and after a while, that season 4 came around, and I'm like, we're still doing this? How's this even a school? It's a cooking competition. Whatever. But anyway, so Afro Samurai, the story could be better. My issue is telling a story with backstory. So he's approaching stuff, and it talks about the backstory, show stuff, and really, him as a character isn't that interesting. He is just Edge Supreme. There's this dude with the white hair who follows him around. I thought, who is this guy? He's some sort of spirit? And he was a complete letdown, too, of who he was. I don't want to spoil it. I really don't want to spoil it, but I might, because the ending is not very good. The fighting in it's pretty neat. Yeah, there's blood. It's gory. It's quick at some points. It's stylized. It definitely has its moments, but so let me get in. So the story is, when Afro Samurai was a little kid, his dad was number 1, and I'll explain to you what that means. And this guy working number 2 band kills his father, decapitates him, and throws his head right to Afro. Now, yeah, that sounds like a really great way to start a show, and it is a fantastic way to start a show. Wow, English. It is a fantastic way to start the show. Fantastic. You find out soon that number 1 is untouchable. The only person you can challenge and defeat number 1 is somebody with number 2 headband. So as the show goes on, Afro Samurai has his number 2 headband. He's going to get revenge on the guy who murdered his father when he was a kid. And that sounds sweet. And there's this organization of like these monks who always have these beautiful women surrounding them. Like, they don't show anything, but you know exactly what's going on. Those women are, doing things with those men. And so you get more about these guys. You're not sure what their goal really is. You're not really sure what the whole plan is, this organization, or, you just know they're after Afro Samurai. So they're plotting, and he's just walking up this mountain trying to re-challenge number 1, kill him and get his revenge, and get the number 1 headband. Meanwhile, everyone's trying to get his number 2. And that's the plot. Like I said, it sounds really cool. And, I'm 100% behind that. My problem is the characters aren't very memorable. Afro's not really that interesting of a character. Like I said, he's just Edgelord Supreme. I'm gonna start this over. Hey, today I'm talking about Afro Samurai, and this is pretty cool. My first experience with Afro Samurai, I was probably at my mom's house. This was like a decade ago. I was on Adult Swim, and I remember seeing an episode or two and thinking, "Oh, dude, this is really cool. There's blood, there's swearing, although it's censored. Oh, dude, this is really cool." And I remember being stoked. And the night ended, and I went to school the next day. I think it was Saturdays. They had animes on Saturdays back then. Or not went to school. I had other things going on. Was I in school? I don't remember. Who cares? So we're coming back later trying to find it, but it ended. And I didn't know why. And now that I'm an adult, I have a good idea why. You see, even though the box says the complete series, I mean, it's not lying, but there's only 6 episodes. And honestly, there's literally nothing wrong with having a shorter show. Not every show needs to be drawn out and long as possible. Food Wars. But so the show has some problems though. So my problem is I'm a big fan of color. This show likes to mute its colors and likes its blacks, whites, grays, and browns a lot. And hell, even Afro's not even brown. He's gray. He's supposed to be a black guy. I mean, whatever. But I like color a lot. That's just a preference of mine. I get it's a stylish choice, but I like color a lot. And the blood is red. The blood is very, very bright red, which is a kind of cool contrast. So the show is about when Afro was a kid, his father was killed by this one guy. And it has a cool opening. The guy decapitates Afro's dad's head and throws it to him. It's like, "Yeah, kid, this is your pathetic dad." And damn, that's one way to start a show. And so it's about Afro going to get his revenge. Now, why couldn't he get it right there? For one, he was like maybe 6, maybe. But so what happens is, in order to take on number 1, so Afro's dad was number 1. He wore the number 1 headband. You had to have a number 2 headband in order to even get a chance to beat him. Because if you're number 1, you're invincible, I think. You're like immortal, and the only one who can challenge you is number 2. So Afro goes, he trains and everything. All in backstory, by the way. And he goes to get his revenge. So the show follows him as an adult, obviously, and he's going up this mountain, and he's going to go and take on the guy who killed his dad, who's now number 1, and Afro's number 2 headband. And everybody wants a shot at number 1, because who doesn't want that, that godlike status? Everybody wants that status. And, that's fine. And all the backstory is told through flashbacks and stuff. Like Afro's walking around, and also a flashback of him as a kid, or him fishing, or one technique he learned, or how he's able to defeat somebody. It's always a flashback, and it's a classic anime trope, which is fine. But my problem is he has almost no personality. He's just Edgelord Supreme, and for the time, I guess that's just kind of par for the course. But I really wish he was a bit more interesting than what he was. I was also disappointed that he has a companion. You can probably see this guy in the box, this dude with the white hair. I was like, "Oh, who is this guy? I want to know who this guy is." Except that he might be some sort of spirit, or he might be some sort of something. And then you get to the end of the show, and they reveal who he is, and the end of the show is utter disappointment. It didn't end well. I guess it has a message that, violence really has no end. And, let's just say this real quick. Not all violence is equal, right? Like if you kill somebody, for revenge, you're really not going to accomplish as much as you think. And I can believe that you're going to be empty because, well, now what? Now you just, But, or there's other revenge, too. Like, for example, something cute. Like, I was on a date with this one girl, right? She took my French fry. So, that was revenge, it's like some cute. I took her cat and threw it off the freeway bridge. But this is after I fucked her without a condom, even though I said I was going to. But that's beside the point. There's just different levels of revenge. So, I haven't seen her since. I won't pick up that phone call, I don't want to hear, oh, you killed my cat, oh, I'm pregnant. No, I don't want to hear that. But, the issue is, the final boss, the guy who killed his dad, you don't really hear much about him. He's just kind of blah, ha, 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 ha. And you know more about these monks. There's this group of people who are trying to take him down and get the number 2 headband. And, I don't know what this organization's plan was or who was supposed to be number 1 or whatever. They had these hot, sultry women all over them. And you're like, oh, I don't know what you guys are doing. I don't know what your organization's about or how you got to where you were, but okay. So the world is kind of cool too, because like I said, there's a number 1, number 2 headband. There is technology, stuff you wouldn't expect, and Afro is just badass, which is awesome. But like I said, the story is just very lackluster. There's just really not much to it. And at the end of the day, like, it was 6 episodes. Like I said, I'm glad it wasn't any longer. The ending wasn't very good, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I'm glad I saw it, but would I see it again? No. I wouldn't see it again. I don't have a lot of time, and that's the issue I've also come with. There's so many people who'll be like, oh, I watched this one show. Like for me, I'm a nobody for One Piece. I had no hobbies. I just spent all day just watching One Piece. But the people are like, oh, Naruto's not good. Naruto Shippuden's not good until episode 53. And I'm like, how do you have that time? I don't have that time. A lot of working adults don't have that time. I'm so envious. I'm not saying you don't work a job, but I'm saying I'm envious that you are able to find that time. But so I'm glad it's short. I'm glad it's short. Maybe it did what it's supposed to do. It's be a violent anime, and it did that pretty well. It's just I feel like a lot of the things could have been better. Is the animation great? Afro's hair is really cool. Some of the movement's pretty cool. But I don't think it's phenomenal. The frame rates gets really bad at some point. It's noticeably bad at some points in the show. Like I said, the color isn't very... I wanted a color. I wanted more color. I wanted more flashiness, but it was just... bleh. That's kind of my mood, my feeling towards this whole show. It's just bleh. It's not bad, but it's not great. I was hoping for more. Maybe my tastes have changed. Because when I was a kid, I would be like, oh, I just want violence. I want blood violence. And that's what it delivers on. But as I got older, I'm like, I want a story. I want something to grip me, But that's just me. Anyway, I just want to talk about that. And I'll see you guys video coming up pretty soon. I'm working on a new video, a new movie review. So I'll see you guys soon.